I really enjoyed the film. Came out with
Thank
a
you
big
very
smile on
much.
my face
Oh,
and feeling
good.
very uplifted, and
Excellent.
stayed for all the beautiful animation and the end
cool,
credits as
good.
well. It's great, isn't it? Yeah. I really liked the forte moment where
Yes.
Wallace and Chantry first meet and Wallace corrects her
Yeah.
pronunciation. How much did you like that sort of pedantic streak in him?
Well, I mean, I kind of immediately recognised that as something that I would probably do myself. Yeah, I'm not that I would probably resist the temptation now that I'm a little bit older to correct somebody on their pronunciation of a word at a party. But that's what my character does in the first 2 pages of the script, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I recognise that. I'm that annoying guy.
And is there an area that you are a bit of a know-it-all on that you might kind of like to correct someone?
Like pronunciation and grammar, and not so much grammar as I know, I don't know particularly. I mean, just particular things people say, particularly in America, the one that I really hate is when people say I could care less, because they say I could care less like we would say I couldn't care less, but they say I could care less, and that drives me insane. And I've had to kind of let that one go because I've spent more time in America now, so you can't correct people on it every time because it gets old fast.
And Wallace and Chantry kind of bond over fridge magnet poetry as well. As a published poet yourself, are you inspired ever by those words? Have you ever come up with anything
No,
using those?
I mean they're a lot of fun to make. The fridge magnet poetry normally. They had some at the Canadian premiere of the movie, and it just descended very quickly into what's the filthiest sounding thing we can make with these perfectly nice words. So we didn't come up with any great sonnets. So.
No, it does tend to descend into that quite
Yeah,
quickly,
it was
doesn't
quite
it?
fast, yeah.
And how would you describe the dynamics really between Wallace and Chantry? I like the way they can seem to bond over their shared sense of humour, which is refreshing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We wanted to make a film where the couple and their flirtation and how they get to know each other is all shown through them sort of, taking the piss out of each other and having a laugh, and that's, I feel, is much more true to life in terms of how people actually interact, especially when they're sort of flirting or especially when one of them has a boyfriend and they can't really flirt, and they just it becomes everything becomes slightly restrained. It's.
And the dialogue, though, the dialogue flows very naturally and feels, really spontaneous. How much room was there to improvise, and how much did you enjoy that aspect of it, if there was?
We did a bit of improvisation. We definitely, it's a massive testament to the script and how good the script is, that a lot of it sounds improvised that isn't. But yeah, it's definitely, it's a great script. So we have that as a foundation, which we're we're not adding in anything. We don't have to make up for anything, which is great. But it's all just bonus material. But we did, what would normally happen is our director would give us 3 or 4 takes, just sticking to the script, and then after that he'd be like, okay, you can do what you want now. And we had a lot of fun. It was I've never really worked like that before, and just being able to throw stuff around at people was great.
And The Young Doctor's Notebook was very funny.
Thank you.
Obviously there's What If now, you've been on SNL, and you've been making people laugh, I think, in press conferences for years, so I've always known you were very funny. But how much is comedy something you'd like to stay with for a while now?
I mean, it definitely is. It's all about finding good material. So I don't care if it's comedy or action or romance or political, whatever it is. I don't care. I just want it to be good. And this was an example of really good comedy that I felt that I found and was able to be a part of. So I'm looking to do as much comedy as I can find, but finding scripts of this level is never an easy thing to do. So it's just about waiting for the right one.
And when it comes to sifting through scripts, whose opinion do you trust most, apart from your own, of course?
My own and my agents, and I guess my dad, but both my parents, but not. Other than that, I wouldn't. My dad used to work with writers a lot in his job, so I would definitely talk to him about scripts. But it really is mainly me at this point in terms of who's. Making the decisions. It's they read everything as well as I read, but it always sort of comes down to how I feel about it.
And just finally, I wondered who some of your own comic heroes were, or if you have your one in particular.
Well, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore and Morecambe and Wise were people I grew up watching a lot of. And then John Cleese and Fawlty Towers, also kind of the writers and everybody involved with Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister, along with modern people more like Armando Iannucci and Steve Coogan and Chris Morris, all of those guys, and obviously Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant, who I got to work with. But the kind of all of those guys. I mean, I feel Britain has just contributed so amazingly significantly to the comedy world that I'm very, very proud to have grown up watching all those people.
We grow some funny people here, don't we?
We grow some very funny people, yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe, thanks very much.
Cool.